the Brownlow. It's a medal awarded to the competition's best and fairest player. Over the years, we have seen some of the AFL's greatest players win this award. But there's one thing this award does, it does pull off some surprises. And in this video, we're going to go through the top 5 most surprising Brownlow winners in AFL history. We'll start with a couple honourable mentions. The first one is Robert Harvey's Brownlow win in 1997. The reason why this was surprising is because he wasn't actually meant to win it. It was actually Western Bulldogs' Chris Grant was meant to win it, but he was actually ineligible due to suspension and actually won by a vote against Robert Harvey, but because of the suspension, Harvey did win it. To his credit, he actually won next year's Brownlow Medal in 1998, and the other honourable mention was Lachie Neale's second Brownlow Medal in 2023, where he wasn't even in the All-Australian team and was able to win the Brownlow Medal ahead of one of the favourites in the Bulldogs' Marcus Bontempelli. Number 5, we have the 2010 Brownlow Medal, which was won by Carlton's Chris Judd. Collingwood's Dane Swan was a red-hot favourite to win the 2010 Brownlow Medal. As you can see, his odds were at $1.80, ahead of Geelong's Gary Ablett, who was actually had a very good year too, at $4.25. And you can see, they got a little bit further down, Chris Judd was paying $23 before the night began. Everyone was expecting a Brownlow domination from Dane Swan given the short odds and how good he was in 2010. Well, that wasn't the case, as Chris Judd polled 30 votes to win 4 votes ahead of Gary Ablett and 6 votes ahead of Dane Swan. And we all know about the Eddie Maguire disapproval photo that he did at the Brownlow, seeing that Judd was ahead of Swan. There's one game in particular that definitely caught my eye, was the game in round 6 where Carlton actually played Collingwood, so Judd versus Swan, and Collingwood won by 55 points. And somehow, Dane Swan did not get 3 votes, he actually polled 2 votes. It was Chris Judd, in a team that lost by 55 points, got 3 votes. Now, Chris Judd was a worthy winner. He did have a good year for Carlton, and he has been an amazing player when he was at West Coast and at Carlton. But I think the reason why this was a surprise is because of how short odds of Dane Swan was going to win this Brownlow, and all the build-up was Swan's going to win it. It's a matter of time, how many votes he's going to poll or get, how many votes he's going to win by, but it ended up being Judd, just overtook and won 6 votes ahead of Swan. Number 4, we've got Gavin Wanganeen's Brownlow win in 1993. In some ways similar to the 2010 Brownlow, Carlton's Greg Williams was a red-hot favourite to win this Brownlow, as he had an incredible year in a team that made the grand final. He was looking to win his second Brownlow medal after winning in 1986, where he tied for first place with Hawthorn's Robert DiDomenico, who, if you remember on Channel 7 back in the day, he was the boundary rider for Channel 7 and also known as Dipper. But he wasn't able to win it. He was pipped by a 20-year-old from Essendon in Gavin Wanganeen, who has had an amazing year at the back pocket for the young Essendon side, who they ended up winning the flag against Carlton. He polled 18 votes, 1 ahead of Greg Williams and Geelong's Gary Hocking. There's a bit of controversy in this count, is because of one game in particular that Greg Williams actually did not get a vote, where he had 44 disposals and somehow did not get a vote, potentially because the umpire did not like him. Now, I think there were some situations, I think, down the track that Greg Williams was going to sue the umpire for the fact that because he didn't like him, he didn't give him a vote, but he ended up not doing that. But who knows? I think for 44 possessions, you would think he'd get at least 1 vote or 2 votes or something that would actually get him to win the Brownlow Medal. So I guess you can kind of understand the controversy behind it. Gavin Wanganeen did win the 1993 Brownlow Medal, one of the youngest to ever win it. He had a great year in 1993, as I said, but it was a surprise on the night. Number 3, we got the 2008 Brownlow Medal, which was won by Bulldogs' Adam Cooney. 2008 was the year that Geelong's Gary Ablett was the red-hot favourite to win the Brownlow until later this season when he got injured, and then Kangaroos' Brent Harvey was actually the favourite heading into the night, whereas Cooney was paying $101 at the start of the year. Whoever decided to put money on him to win the Brownlow, I congratulate you. You did that very well. Cooney polled 24 votes to get the win in 2008, 1 ahead of Brisbane's Simon Black. Ablett finished tied in 3rd with Richmond's Matthew Richardson, who was a crowd favourite that night because he was very close to winning the Brownlow, and you can tell in the TV coverage, everyone in the room really wanted Richardson to win. It would have been a fairy tale Brownlow win for him, but he just fell short in the end. To be fair on Cooney, he did have a good year in 2008. He actually was ranked top 5 in disposals. Definitely wasn't a bad winner in terms of the year that he had. It's just that there were players like Ablett who had an amazing year in 2008. Brent Harvey was great. And a lot of people wanted Richardson to win the Brownlow as like a nice little fairy tale story. Number 2, we have the 2014 Brownlow Medal, which was won by West Coast's Matt Priddis. I remember this one being quite a surprise because even though on this picture he is in there with $17, no one really expected Pritis to be close to win the Brownlow. It was Joel Selwood that actually was the favourite from Geelong. Gary Ablett was second at $4 when he was playing at Gold Coast. He would have been red hot favourite if he didn't get injured against Collingwood. This is where he did his shoulder. And then the likes of Robbie Gray and Josh Kennedy, who all had really good years. And even Buddy Franklin had an amazing year too in 2014. But the rookie from WA, Matt Pritis, won with 26 votes. Actually won ahead of Nat Fyfe, who actually was suspended and at one point was actually leading, I think, with a couple rounds to go. So in some ways it was good that it wasn't Fyfe that won the Brownlow in that case, but it was a real shock that it was Matt Pritis that won the Brownlow. If you look through his stats, he actually was ranked 5th in disposals, 3rd in tackles, so he had a solid year, very good year for someone at West Coast, but he's not one that if you watch as on TV, you don't normally see him get a lot of footy, but I guess the umpires, they always see these contested ball winners, and Pritis, he did have a very good 2014 season. This one was a surprise, but number one is more surprising. And we're going to 2000, where Melbourne's Shane Woden won the Brownlow. A question I want to ask the audience, do you guys know who Shane Woden was? Comment down below if you do or you don't. He's not a household name, but geez, he was after winning this Brownlow medal. He was paying at 200 to 1 at the start of the season to win the Brownlow. And players like Anthony Koutafidis, Andrew McLeod and Scott West were amongst the favourites to win this Brownlow. But Woden was around the mark, and he actually had a 1 vote lead ahead of Scott West heading into the last round. West was only able to poll 1 vote, where he had 33 possessions in a 15-point loss against Hawthorn, whereas Shane Woden, in a 70-point win against West Coast at Subiaco, was able to get 2 votes despite the fact he only had 17 disposals and 1 goal to pull off the biggest Brownlow surprise win in history. Now, I'm not taking away how good his year was. He did average 22.16 disposals a game. He was vital in Melbourne making the grand final. But when you have the likes of Anthony Koutafidis, Andrew McLeod and Scott West, and Nathan Buckley for that matter, all amongst the favourites for this Brownlow, the talent in that pool, it's kind of crazy how not one of them was not able to win it, but it was a player like Shane Woden who really had one amazing year in 2000, no offence. I wonder if there will be any Brownlow surprises in this year. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Let me know in the comments what you think of this top 5. Do you agree? Or is there other people that you could add on this list? There probably are quite a few, so let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this content, perhaps have a look at this video. I think you will enjoy this one as well.